Hi and thanks for watching the Mr. Tim Tech YouTube channel. In this video I'm going to teach you how to set up Matter over Thread in Home Assistant, and to be specific we'll be using this, which is the SMLight SLZB-MR3 as the Matter over Thread coordinator, and they'll also be using an Android tablet to adopt the devices and to also install the Home Assistant companion app on. And the device I'll be adopting into Home Assistant, which has both the Matter and Thread logos on the box, is this, which is the Eve Energy Smart Plug. And it's the British version, but of course you can use any version, but just make sure that it has both the Matter and Thread logos on the box. So if you're having trouble setting up, or you want to know how to set up a Matter over Thread network in Home Assistant, then keep watching this video and I'll show you how. Now, just one thing to mention is that the device that we'll be adopting into the Matter over Thread network is the Eve Energy Smart Plug, which I mentioned, and that has been factory reset. So it's not been adopted into any other platform prior to this. However, if you're adopting devices that have been already adopted into, say, Apple Home or Google Home, then what I'll do is I'll put a link in the video description where you can follow some instructions for that. Now, what you need to do is follow my instructions up until we get to the point where we're scanning the QR code. And then before you scan the QR code, you need to refer to the link with the instructions in the video description. And that will tell you how to adopt the device that's already been added to Apple HomeKit or Google Home. So let's get started. So here we are at Home Assistant. And just to confirm, the versions I'm using is, for the core, it's 2026.2.3. The supervisor is 2026.02.2. And the operating system is 17.1. So these are the latest versions at the time of recording this video. And also, just to confirm that the SLZB-MR3, which I'm using as the Matter over Thread coordinator, is using version SLZB-OS version 3.2.4, which again, at the time of recording this video, is the latest version. And for Matter over Thread, I'll be using the latest version again. So what we need to do first is go into Home Assistant, into the tab here. Then we're going to go to Settings, System, Backups, and then Show All Backups, and then click the Backup Now button to create a backup of Home Assistant before we start. So this ensures that if anything is wrong or you do anything wrong, then we can restore the backup. Now I've already created a backup, so I'll go back to the overview page. And then we're going to go to the other tab for the SLZB-MR3, and what we're going to do is enable Matter over Thread. So to do this, we need to go to the Mode option at the left hand side. Now just to confirm, this SLZB-MR3 has two chipsets. So one for the CC2674 is running the Zigbee coordinator, and the EFR is going to be running Matter over Thread. So to enable Matter over Thread, we'll click the slider here against Matter over Thread and then select the option to Got It, and it will then reflash with Matter over Thread. Click Next and then change mode to Matter over Thread and then click OK. And then we'd wait for it to flash Matter over Thread firmware onto the MG24 chip. Now you should be able to use the CC2674 chip for this, or the MG24. However, just to make you aware that if you're using one of the SLZBs, which only has one chip, then if you enable Matter over Thread, you will disable Zigbee coordinator mode, which then, if you're using it for Zigbee, will break your Zigbee network. So once the update's done, we'll click Close. Now you can see it's got the Matter over Thread option enabled. So now what we need to do is scroll down to the bottom of this page for the connection mode. And what we need to do is make sure that you've already plugged in the MR3 or whichever coordinator you're using. So make sure that it's plugged into both Ethernet and USB. So you need to connect the USB A to C cable. So the C end into the coordinator and then the A end of the cable into your Home Assistant server. So the machine that's running Home Assistant, whether that be a NAS with a USB port or whatever. So you need to be using a USB A to C cable. So make sure that they're both connected with Ethernet and USB at the same time. So this creates a more stable connection. So what we're going to do with the connection mode is we're going to slide the USB option. So we're going to enable the USB connection option, but we're also going to be using it so that we can access it over the network via Ethernet. So to enable that, you need to make sure that the tick box is ticked for keep on Wi-Fi, Ethernet network and web server in USB mode. So make sure that's ticked. Then for the select the radio and USB connection mode, we're going to leave it as EFR32MG24 hardware connection. Or if you're using the CC24, then you need to enable that option instead of the EFR option. So once you've set those settings like that, you need to click save, and then it will ask you to restart the MR3. So click restart now. So just wait for it to restart. And then once it's restarted, at the top here, you should have internet and USB with the green coloured icon. So now we've done that, we're going to go to the Home Assistant tab and we're going to go into settings at the left hand side. Then we're going to select devices and services, and then we're going to select add integration. Then what we're going to do is search for Matter, and here you'll see we've got Matter. So we're going to select that, and then with the select connection method, we're going to make sure that the box is ticked for use the official Matter Server Supervisor add-on. Then what we're going to do is select submit and wait for the add-on to be installed and started. Now this will take just a few minutes, and then you'll get success created configuration for Matter. So click finish. Then what we're going to do is we're going to install the Home Assistant companion app on either an Android tablet or an Android phone. So in this case, I'm using a Samsung Galaxy tablet. So you'll see now that I've got the tablet screen up, and what I've already done is I've gone into the Play Store. So we're going to Google Play Store, click search, and then type in Home Assistant, and you should see the Home Assistant companion app pop up in the search. So what you need to do is just install it. Now as you can see, I've got the open button, however I've already installed it. So what we'll do is go back and go to the dashboard, as you'll see here, or the home screen, and I've already got the Home Assistant app installed. So what you would do is open up the Home Assistant app, and then of course you'll get the login prompt to log into Home Assistant. So just log in with your normal username and password that you would use to access Home Assistant with, and that will then install and set up the Home Assistant dashboard like you see here, or similar to this of the companion app. So again, this is on the Android tablet. So you'll need this installed on the Android tablet or Android phone to be able to scan the QR codes for the devices. However, once you've installed the app, you will also need to enable permissions. So to enable the permissions for the Home Assistant companion app, what you need to do is go into settings in your tablet, scroll down to apps, and then we're going to select the Home Assistant app from the list. So here we've got Home Assistant, and then we're going to select permissions. Now what you need to do is, as you'll see under allowed, I've already allowed the camera, location and nearby devices. So with the not allowed selection here, you need to select nearby devices, location and camera, and just set them so that they're allowed to be accessed and used while using the Home Assistant app. So just do that as you would any other app. So you need to do it for nearby devices, location and camera. So once you've done that, the app is then ready on the tablet. So now what we're going to do is go back to the Home Assistant screen, and we're going to go to Add Integration. Then what we're going to do is search for Thread. So you'll see that we've got Thread with the T logo. So you don't need to select Open Thread Border Router. You need to select Thread. So select Thread, and then it will say success created configuration for thread. So just click finish. Now under the configured devices here, you should now see Matter and thread. As we can see here, we've got Matter and thread. So make sure that they appear under configured. So then what we're going to do is go to settings at the left side again. We're going to go to apps. Now this used to be called add-ons in a prior version of Home Assistant, which is now changed to apps. So click on apps, then we're going to select install app. Then in the top search bar, we're going to type in open, and we're going to select open thread border router. So this is the one with the OT logo against it. So click on open thread border router, then select the install button. Then what we're going to do is make sure that Start on Boot is enabled, so that should be blue. And for Watchdog, we need to enable that, so turn that one blue. Then at the top, we're going to go to the Configuration tab, and you'll see under Device, so under the Options section, and then Device, you'll see that we've got some Dev TTY. Now you should see the SLZB-MR3 appear on one of the ports. So as you can see, it's here in this one. So it's port 0, however yours might be a different port number. So what you need to do is select the device, so whether you're using an MR3 or an MR1, MR2, or for example a 06P7 in Matter over thread mode, just select the device that you're using. Then what we're going to do is make sure that the baud rate is set to 460,800, so it should be 460,800. Then what we're going to do is for the hardware flow control, we're going to make sure that that is off. Then what we're going to do is click the save button. Then we'll go to the info page at the top, and you'll see that OpenThread has got the green arrow icon at the top here. So now what we're going to do is go to back to the tablet screen. So we're going onto the Home Assistant Companion app again. And we're going to open Home Assistant Companion. We're going to go to Settings and then scroll down and select Companion App. We'll scroll down to the Help section. So it says Need Help. So what we're going to do is select Troubleshooting. Then what we're going to do is select Sync Thread Credentials. And you'll see it's now syncing. So we'll just wait a few moments for it to sync, and we should get a message pop up in a moment. Here saying sync thread credentials with a green tick box, Home Assistant and this device use the same network. So we'll click OK. Then we can close Home Assistant Companion. Then what we're going to do is go back to the Home Assistant screen, not on the Companion, and we'll go to Settings, System, and then in the top right corner we'll click the power button. And then what we're going to do is restart Home Assistant. So select Restart Home Assistant, then you'll get the pop-up saying Restart Home Assistant. This will interrupt all running automations and scripts. So click Restart. Now you'll see connection lost, reconnecting. So we'll just wait for it to reload Home Assistant, and it's now restarted. So what we'll do is go to Settings, and then what we're going to do is select Thread. So select Thread. And you'll see we now get preferred network, HA thread, BCBE. Now yours will say HA thread and then probably different characters, where mine says BCBE. So yours might be different characters there, but don't worry about it. As long as it says preferred network and you get HA thread and the Home Assistant logo, and then Home Assistant Open Thread Border Router as the preferred network, then that means it's added it correctly and it's restarted Home Assistant correctly as well. So now we've done that, we can go back to the overview page, and now we've configured Matter over thread and also the Open Thread Border Router in Home Assistant, and we've also installed and configured the Home Assistant Companion app on the Android tablet. So now we've done all of those tasks, we can then add our device. And as I said in the intro, in this case it's the Eva Energy Matter over Thread Smart Plug. So we'll proceed to go back to the Android tablet screen. So this is the Home Assistant Companion app on Android tablet. Open up Home Assistant, And that, as you can see, is our Home Assistant dashboard. So what we're going to do now is go into settings. We're going to scroll down and we're going to select Matter. And you'll see that we've got Matter status online with a green tick. So now what we can do is scan the QR code for the smart plug. So what we'll do to do this is select Add Device, and then it will say Add Matter Device. Is your device already added to another Matter controller? Now, as I've said, it's factory reset and it's new, so we don't need to select the yes option. We'll select no, it's new, and then we'll scan the QR code using the label, and as you can see, it scanned it. So now it's saying get ready for setup. So what we'll do is power on the smart plug. Now just be aware that you need to make sure Bluetooth, as you can see here, and location are both enabled. So once those are both enabled, we can then click I am ready, and it will then connect to the device, and it should add it into Home Assistant directly without having to use Google Home or Apple Home. So as I said, this device has been reset so that it's not adopted into any other network prior to this. So we're adding it directly into Home Assistant without having to go through Apple Home or Google Home. So now you can see it's generating Matter credentials, checking connectivity for Thread network, and connecting device to Home Assistant. And now we've got device connected, so we can click Done. And then you'll see it takes us straight into the device screen. So we've got all the information for the Eve Energy smart plug. So we can add it to the dashboard if we want. We can share the device. We can set up automations just as you would with any other device in Home Assistant. So if we select Matter here, and you see this provides you with a list of the devices that you're adding into Home Assistant for Matter over Thread. So again, to select the device, we'll click Eve Energy, and then we get the controls. So we can turn the plug on or off, and then that is it. So that's how easy it is to set up a Matter over Thread network and add a Matter over Thread device directly into Home Assistant without having to go through Google Home or Apple Home. So that will do it for this video. Hope you found this video useful. Take care, and I'll be back soon with more videos.